And these are the other things that you will find time and time again in ferric salts. It's a scandal. And I've highlighted manganese because we just talked about it, but copper's another problem. So if your backwash water from your filters is going to sewerage, you'll be sending copper at concentrations that will compromise most sewage treatment plants, because copper is a biocide, quite apart from all the other things that will be going down into the waste treatment plant, for which most waste treatment plants aren't equipped to deal with. So it's in their effluent. Yeah, and these are levels of contamination you just do not want anywhere in the environment. So that's why I feel very passionately about replacing ferric chloride, if for nothing else than this situation, which is allowed to prevail widely in the States and widely everywhere else. So always people say, so what about the cost? I get that. And we've tried to do here, it's very difficult from country to country because everything varies somewhat. So this is done on a sort of a sliding scale against the critical process parameters that people should be considering. I'm not going to go through this in a great deal of detail, but the point that you get from this, if you go to the bottom line, is that the capital cost and the operating cost are very moderate compared to the any alternative. And why is that? Well, you've seen how uncomplicated the technology that I presented. Yeah. Electrolysis is not an expensive process, either in terms of capital or operating costs. Yes, we make it more expensive by incorporating all the automation and so on and so forth, but you're going to get automation and so on and so forth with all the other treatment technologies. Ours is all bound up in an on-site and fully autonomous treatment system. So I think in terms of what we can offer, it certainly has appeal here in the States, and I'll allow Patrick to talk in a second about what we've been doing in India. We see a very exciting opportunity to deliver much safer drinking water, not only in the way it's treated, but the product at the end of it. I'm going to leave arsenic very, very briefly and talk to chrome, because this is the product we first developed. And the only difference with what you saw a minute or two ago for arsenic is now, instead of electrolyzing certified steel, we electrolyze tin, food-grade tin plates. A lot of tin produced in India. And that produces stannous, which is another very powerful reagent. And that will convert chrome 6 completely to chrome 3, which can then be filtered out. So this is an incredible solution. It's been designated best available technology by the state of California for dealing with chrome 6. It's the Erin Brockovich story, for those of you that know it, because it eliminates chrome 6. We're not removing it and then having to deal with it. We're not converting half of it and then the other half ends up somewhere else. We are eliminating it entirely. Same process that I described earlier, except now we're using a different precursor. And I know chrome, particularly in industrial environments in India, is a major issue and has contaminated a lot of groundwater supplies. So this is designed precisely for that, as is the case in California, which suffers the same problem. And these are the results of that chrome treatment system. There's a lot going on here. The blue line is an online monitor tracking on everything. So we were doing stop-start to show no latency. You turn it off, the number shoots up to 40 or 50 ppb. Turn it back on again, and within seconds, the system is in equilibrium. And the red dots are laboratory-based grab samples, which were run off to a laboratory to show that the online instrument, which was controlling all of this, was delivering accurate results. So it was validation both of the treatment as well as the continuous monitoring. And this is a pilot system, which is very easy to deploy. And you can see the dimensions at the bottom. We ship it in a very large box to wherever it needs to go. It's very rapid to install. The top half, the top two boxes there correspond, if you remember back to the first picture, the black box on the left. So the galvanostat, which is essentially the power supply, the control, the HMI, which is a data that's presented there but can be available remotely. The little generator in the middle there, which is enough to treat for 20 litres a minute, and then the fluidics, which will pump everything round. So this is very rapid to deploy. And when I'm asked, so, what about a full-scale unit? Well, this is a full-scale unit for a small community. It's not a full-scale unit for 5 million gallons a day or 20 million litres a day, but this is the size of a unit that would more than adequately treat, doesn't have the filters and all the other stuff, but they would be appropriately scaled. But this is the size of a unit. Turns up, it comes in a cabinet and it's there. It's almost plug and play. And you don't need someone babysitting it. You can have a babysitter for lots of these units scattered around the place, and it will tell you when the electrodes need to be replaced. It will tell you if there's a power cut. It will give you total control of what's going on. So this is designed to address the, where you don't have skilled labor, people having to babysit it. So I hopefully you've gleaned these conclusions without, and I'm not going to read through them, but we designed this to be easy to deploy. It's automated so that we deal with all the issues around ensuring that the system is working. We don't have toxic waste streams. It takes away all of the issues around bulk chemicals. Very inefficient, so we can use renewables. It's very good in stop-go modes, which is the case for most wells. Most people don't think about how wells actually get used. And compared to existing technologies, has very modest capex and opex. So that's the punchline. And we worry as well, not only that we're going to widen access to safe drinking water, but we should all recognize on this call that every time we build a new treatment system anywhere in the world, we're going to add to carbon greenhouse gas emissions. And so part of our mandate on ourselves is, well, okay, we're part of that. Let's make sure that the carbon impact, greenhouse gas emissions from our treatment system are the minimum possible. We can't get away from generating them, but we're going to make them as limited as possible. And if we can use renewables, that's also a net carbon reduction contribution.